Welcome to this ballet chat. Today we're diving into the top 10 best ballet variations for beginners, mixing classic flair with technical insights.
I'm excited. So many layers to this topic. What's striking you most from our discussion of ballet variations?
Well, it's like these variations are not just solos. They're mini showcases that reveal, right, a dancer's artistry and technique. Take, for example, Sleeping Beauty's Lilac Fairy. It's a timeless piece that demands balance and an ethereal quality.
That ethereal quality seems crucial. But how do these variations fit into a broader learning process for beginners?
It's like building blocks, right? Classic variations such as Don Quixote's Kitri or even the Sugar Plum Fairy from the Nutcracker help establish technical skills, from basic turns to more refined footwork.
Yep.
They really serve as the foundation.
Sure. And I noticed that the article also distinguishes between variations meant for technical development versus those that are more expressive. What's your take on that?
Absolutely. It's like the selection is strategic. You choose a piece that matches your strengths and also targets a couple of weaknesses. For instance, dancers might pick Giselle's Act I variation to work on their lyrical expression and stability.
But then some variations, like the Black Swan from Swan Lake, are noted as more challenging. They not only demand precision, but also convey deep character emotions. Isn't that a big leap for beginners?
Oh, definitely. Black Swan is on a different level. It's reserved for more advanced stages. It's intense, and even advanced dancers talk about the multifaceted emotional depth required to perform it properly.
So, for someone starting out, what would be a recommended progression based on this approach?
I think it's like a gradual evolution. You'd start, say, with something like Cupid's variation from Don Quixote, which is described as lively and playful, great for developing fundamental techniques without the overwhelming intensity.
Right, I get that. That makes sense. It seems like the article also emphasizes matching your repertoire to your strengths and weakness. But don't you think sometimes that might limit artistic exploration?
That's a fair point. I mean, while it's important to build on what you're good at, it's also crucial to challenge yourself with pieces that push your boundaries. It's a delicate balance between fun and technical challenge, you know?
Exactly. And what about musicality? I saw that the discussion stresses aligning movements with the music. How does that play into these variations?
Oh, musicality is the soul of the performance. Matching movements to musical phrases helps with conveying emotion and connecting with the audience. In many variations, like Aurora's Wedding Pas de Deux, it's not just the steps. You have to live the music.
That's interesting because it seems like every variation becomes a story told through movement. How does stage presence factor into this?
Stage presence is critical. Think of it as that spark you bring to the stage. When a dancer performs, say, Esmeralda's Tambourine variation, the precision and engaging character work captivate the audience instantly.
That makes a big difference. Speaking of character work, I read that ballet variations often require the dancer to embody a particular role. How challenging is that aspect?
It can be really challenging because you're not only performing technically, but also emotionally. Take, for example, Giselle's variation. It's both lyrical and intensely emotional, and you must connect with the character. It's a twofold challenge, mastering technique and conveying deep emotion.
That's true. And then there's this idea of adaptations. The article hints at adapting classical variations for contemporary styles. What do you think about that?
Oh, it's so fascinating. Like, you keep the original structure, the rhythm and melody, but introduce off-axis balances and modern movements. It's almost like reinventing a classic dish with a modern twist.
Right, that sounds innovative. But I do wonder, isn't there a risk of losing the essence of the original variation when you adapt it too much?
That's a valid critique. It requires a fine balance. Adaptation shouldn't overshadow the classical elements that gave the variation its charm in the first place. There's an art to preserving the integrity while making it relevant.
I can see that. Now, on a more technical note, what about the role of competitions? The input mentioned competitions like Yagi P influencing popular choices. How does that work?
Competitions have a huge impact. They tend to highlight variations that demonstrate technical prowess and stage presence. For example, Kitri's Act I variation from Don Quixote is a favorite because it's both technically demanding and dazzling for the audience, making it a standout piece in competitions.
Yep, I've seen that trend. So competitions shape the popularity of certain pieces, essentially setting trends in which variations are practiced and performed worldwide.
Exactly, and that influences school curricula and even future choreographic decisions. Dancers worldwide may train on these popular solos, which then creates a virtuous cycle of popularity.
It's like a feedback loop. Interesting. And what about the technical requirements? The text mentioned precise turns, jumps, and point work as essential components. How do dancers usually manage such intricate demands?
Well, it almost becomes like an ongoing training regimen, a fine-tuning, if you will. Classic techniques are at the core, such as mastering difficult turns and variations like the Black Swan. But there's also a focus on, physical stamina and shot-for-shot exactness to ensure each movement is crisp.
Right. Precision matters a lot. And it seems that each variation is chosen not just for technique, but for personal expression too. How do dancers decide which variation speaks to them personally?
That's where self-awareness plays a role. Dancers are encouraged to choose pieces that resonate with their own style and strengths. Some might lean toward the expressive melancholy of Giselle, while others prefer the energetic flair of Don Quixote's Kitri. It's a personalized journey.
Very relatable. And what about rehearsal tips? The content touched on preparing for competitions, not only technically, but, mentally. How do dancers manage that side?
True, mental preparation is key. Rehearsing in costumes, simulating the stage environment, and even handling performance nerves are all part of the package. It's like preparing for battle. Everyone needs to be in peak form, both physically and mentally.
Yep, that mental game is huge. That resonates. I mean, even professionals talk about stage jitters. So, summing up, would you say the article offers a roadmap for both beginners and advanced dancers?
Absolutely. It neatly categorizes variations not only by difficulty, from beginnings like Cupid's variation to more challenging ones like Gamsati from La Bayadere, but also by technical focus areas like pointework versus jumps or turns. It gives dancers a clear path.
I agree. What do you think about the overall balance between fun and rigor in these variations? Isn't it a fine line to tread?
It is a fine line indeed. The key is finding joy while pushing boundaries. A dancer must embrace the fun of expressing art and at the same time hit the technical benchmarks required for competitions. That balance is what truly elevates a performance.
That's insightful. And it seems like the digital age has helped too, right? More video resources, notation guides, it's also much more accessible.
Right on. Digital media has spread exposure to these classic variations worldwide. Dancers can easily access performance videos and notation resources, which helps standardize training and inspire innovation.
Absolutely, it's a game changer. To wrap up, it sounds like the article champions a comprehensive approach to ballet, merging classical technique, personal expression, and modern accessibility.
Exactly. It's a celebration of the ballet tradition, while also acknowledging the evolving landscape of her art. By carefully selecting the right variation, dancers not only perfect their technique but also find their personal voice on stage.
Beautifully put. This conversation really highlights the depth and nuance behind what might otherwise seem like a simple solo. There's artistry, strategy, and a lot of passion involved.
Yeah, it's like every variation is a world in itself, blending technical mastery with storytelling, making each performance a personal masterpiece.
Right, truly inspiring. Thanks for such an engaging chat. We've certainly uncovered a lot of layers in these ballet variations today.
Absolutely. Thanks for the insightful back and forth. Keep dancing and keep exploring those beautiful layers of technique and expression.